Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is a seminar organized by the inimitable Barbara Jura, the narcissism coach in Budapest, Hungary. Hungary is in Europe. Europe is on Earth, and Earth is part of the solar system. And if this is not enough, today we are going to discuss astrophysics in mental health, because the narcissist is a black hole, and this is a cosmic object, as some of you know. So, the seminar is a total of 6 hours. The first part is 2 hours, then questions and answers, 1 hour, and there's a break, short break, then a second part of 2 hours, and then questions and answers for yet another hour. You can post your questions to my right, to the right of my screen. There's a chat function, and you can type your questions there. I promise to review them and to ignore all the questions I don't want to answer, because that's the kind of guy I am. Who am I, actually? My name is Sam Vaknin. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited, and I'm a professor of psychology in Southern Federal University in Rostov-on-Don, the Russian Federation of all places. And I'm also a professor of psychology and a professor of finance in the outreach program of the CIAS Consortium of Universities, Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies. Phew, that was long. Now, kids and kidettes, listen well. The first part is focused on the narcissist's psychology and the psychodynamics of his relationship with you. So it's a deep dive into what makes the narcissist tick in your relationship with him and how does this affect your psychology. So the first part is entirely dedicated to the psychology of relationships with narcissists on both ends, the narcissist and its hapless victim, recipient, survivor, whatever you want to call yourself. That's the first part. The second part of the seminar, about 2.5 hours from now, the second part will be a new stream, another stream, and it will be about 2.5 hours from now. In the second part, I will deal with coping strategies within the relationship, and even more importantly, in my view, coping strategies after the relationship had ended, coping strategies in the aftermath of the relationship. So stay tuned either for both parts or for the second part. If you are pragmatic people, if you're practically oriented, and you don't give a fig about what psychology has to say about narcissists and their victims, then switch off and come back in about 2.5 hours time. There'll be a new stream dedicated to practicalities, how-to stream. If you are curious about what's going on in the narcissist's mind and what his mind does to your mind, then you're in the right place, and definitely with the right guide, which happens to be me. So, without further ado, and by the way, good morning to all of you from all over the universe, the known universe. And without further ado, let's dive right in. As you all know, relationships with narcissists go through a predictable cycle. It starts usually with love bombing, and if the narcissist is psychopathic, there's a stage called grooming. It then evolves into a honeymoon. And I call this whole thing dual mothering or dual mothership. I will come to it a bit later. Then there's a process of idealization, actually co-idealization, and introjection, snapshotting. Then there is the inevitable devaluation. Then there is discard. And then there is replacement and repetition compulsion. These are the phases of the cycle of the relationship with a narcissist. And I will dwell on each and every one of these phases and explain to you in depth the psychology, the engine behind this inexorable, inevitable, ineluctable cycle. Why does the narcissist keep doing it? Why does he keep finding new intimate partners, idealizing them, and then devaluing them, discarding them? Why go through all this? What's the benefit? And so I will explain to you that the narcissist actually cannot help himself. And this is why it's called a repetition compulsion. And before we go there, a few things about narcissists. Narcissism is widely considered to be a personality disorder. Now, if there are two words in psychology I hate most, it's personality and disorder. I think the personality is a fictitious construct that has no grounding in any studies or anything we know about human beings. Personality, ostensibly, is lifelong, it's fixed, it's immutable. But of course, it's nonsense. People are not like lakes, they're like rivers. People flow, people evolve, people change. Sometimes they change within months. There's no such thing as personality. Similarly, I disagree with the word disorder. But not to make this too academic, I think that narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, and even narcissistic style, people who are just narcissists, a-holes, jerks, I think that these people are actually had experienced complex trauma in childhood. They are the sad outcomes, the sad reactions to CPTSD, complex trauma. Now, this complex trauma must have happened in the formative years. In psychology, the years between 6 months and 6 years. This period in human life is when we are essentially formed. We use metaphors such as core identity or self or ego, superego, and id, if you're a Freudian. These are all, of course, metaphors. No one had captured an ego or a self in a bottle. These are allegories, similes. But something happens in these first 6 years of life. And if you're exposed during these years to a dead mother, dead not in the physical sense, but dead in the emotional, psychological sense, a mother who is absent, a mother who is selfish, depressed, a mother who is dysfunctional, a mother who parentifies you as a child, forces you to become her parent, a mother who instrumentalizes the child, uses the child to realize her wishes and fantasies and dreams, a frustrated mother, and so on and so forth, a mother who spoils the child and prevents the child from getting in touch with reality. And so a mother who hinders the child's personal development and growth, a mother who does not allow the child to develop personal firm boundaries, a mother who refuses to let the child go, refuses to allow the child to separate and become an individual in a process known as separation, individuation. All these things are very traumatic because the child cannot become. There's no way the child can feel separate from his mother. And so he just dies. He dies mentally and emotionally. And both people with borderline personality disorder and people with narcissistic personality disorder are actually victims of childhood abuse. Now, I know that many of you would scoff or be startled by the idea that narcissists are victims, but of course they are. They are. Narcissists are children who had chosen a specific solution, trying desperately to cope with an environment which had been toxic and not conducive to growth. Narcissists are abused children who never ever grow up. There are a few things, characteristics of narcissism, pathological narcissism, because there is also healthy narcissism. But in our seminar today, we're going to limit ourselves to the pathological kind. And when we observe pathological narcissists in their habitat, which is the relationship with you, we come across certain specific behaviors. First of all, narcissists self-soothe. They have self-soothing behaviors. And these self-soothing behaviors are usually in the form of addictions. So narcissists very commonly are addicted to alcohol or to drugs or to the internet or to pornography or to workaholism or to shopping or to traveling. Whatever they do, it's addictive. And the reason they need to self-soothe is because of something called prolonged grief syndrome. Prolonged grief syndrome means that the narcissist mourns and grieves his childhood, his lost childhood. He is constantly sad, dysphoric about what he could have become. He mourns and grieves his lost potential, the fact that he had never become an adult, that he was never allowed to evolve and to develop. Think of it. It is indeed a sad story. The narcissist's background is sad. And so he needs to soothe himself all the time. Another thing common to narcissists is repetition compulsion. They tend to repeat the same behaviors, regardless of outcomes. Someone said, erroneously, but never mind, that the hallmark of craziness is repeating the same thing, the same behaviors over and over again, expecting different results. Well, that's the narcissist for you. The narcissist has repetition compulsion. In his relationships, for example, the narcissist would select an intimate partner and then go through the same mistakes he had committed in previous relationships. The devaluation, the discard, the callousness, the ruthlessness, the cruelty, the sadistic abuse, etc. He just can't help it. That's the meaning of the word compulsion. Compulsion means he's compelled to do what he does. It's not, he doesn't control his behaviors. The next thing is, by the way, say hello to Minnie. The next thing is dysfunctional attachment. Most narcissists have avoidant or insecure attachment styles, more likely avoidant dismissive. Avoidant dismissive attachment styles are attachment styles which are not conducive to bonding. They are not real attachment. Actually, I'm proposing another style of attachment. I call it flat attachment. I think narcissists are incapable of getting really attached to anyone, really bonding with anyone, really committing to anyone, and really investing in anyone. And there are many reasons for this, but suffice it to say that they are incapable. They also don't have access to positive emotions. Early in childhood, the narcissist had learned that positive emotions, such as love, lead to pain, result in hurt. So he doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want to love anymore. And he's afraid to tap into his positive emotions, because his positive emotions are marinated in a reservoir of historical pain and hurt. If he were to love again, he would feel very threatened. So he's incapable of emotions. And there are other reasons why he's incapable of bonding and attachment. I will touch upon this a bit later. The next thing you need to know about the narcissist is that he is discontinuous. There's no continuity there, no coherence, no cohesion, no core, nothing stable. The narcissist is shape-shifting, mutable, exactly like a river. He has dissociative self-states. He appears to be different persons. It's like his shape is shifting or switching between personalities. He has no memory of the vast majority of his life. He experiences his life as something out there. He is merely the observer, the spectator, the director of a movie, or an actor on a stage in a theater play called My Life. So he doesn't experience his life directly, but only indirectly through the mediation of a narrative.